Welcome to the Explainer. So, today we are unpacking a really bizarre psychological glitch human laughter. I mean, have you ever caught yourself just laughing uncontrollably at something that makes absolutely zero logical sense? Yeah, of course you have, we all have. We're going to look at exactly how and why our brains are hardwired to find the absolute weirdest things hilarious, diving right into the evolutionary and psychological reasons behind those involuntary giggles. Okay, let's dive into this. It's the ultimate puzzle, right? Why do we laugh at the weirdest things? Just think about how we react to completely illogical situations. We really like to consider ourselves these highly advanced, rational beings, yet a totally harmless, mildly confusing situation can make us just completely lose our composure. It's kind of like a conspiracy of the human mind. We are literally wired to react to the absurd, the awkward, and the totally nonsensical with this completely involuntary physical reaction. Section 1. The awkward human phenomenon. To really get this, I want you to picture a scene. Imagine a busy, super serious city street. People are power walking, clutching their coffees, rushing to work, completely in the zone. And then, a simple, microscopic social misstep occurs. The accidental wave. You see someone waving, your brain panics, you wave back, and instantly realize, oh no, they were looking at the person right behind you. Ah, the relatable agony of it. But what's truly fascinating here isn't just the personal embarrassment. It's what actually happens psychologically. Your brain registers a misfire in social cues, causing a huge spike in stress. And that awkward confusion, it doesn't just stay with you. It instantly spreads. The person waving is confused, you are embarrassed, and an instant social domino effect is born out of absolutely nothing. This brilliantly illustrates our weird psychology. Humans are the only creatures who can laugh because someone waved at the wrong person and somehow make it everyone's problem. Like, we don't just experience an awkward moment, we broadcast it. We process it as a group, and ultimately, it triggers this communal laughter just to release the psychological tension of a completely harmless mistake. Section 2. Slapstick and dad jokes. All right, let's play scientists for a second and observe a classic human blunder. Imagine a man walking down the street. He spots a classic hazard, a banana peel, on the sidewalk, and carefully steps around it. Brilliant! Survival instinct activated. He feels so incredibly proud of himself that he decides to dramatically celebrate his victory over the fruit. But while celebrating, he immediately bumps face first into a metal street sign. He survives the trap only to instantly humiliate himself. Why is this so universally funny to us? Well, it's because humans spend years learning from mistakes, only to invent brand new mistakes. Just let that hilarious evolutionary contradiction sink in for a second. We have thousands of years of evolving to avoid danger backing us up, and yet our capacity for foolishness remains completely boundless. We literally outsmart a banana peel just to be defeated by a pole. And speaking of boundless foolishness, picture a classic dad at a family barbecue dropping this absolute gem. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. Yep, those are the imaginary crickets chirping. That is the sound of pure, unadulterated linguistic pain. But here is where the science gets really fun. The dad joke delay. It's that mysterious 5-second gap. The joke lands, everyone groans dramatically, you think it's a total failure. But then, 5 seconds later, those groans secretly turn into genuine laughter. Scientists actually still cannot figure out why the absolute worst jokes eventually break down our psychological defenses and become the funniest ones. It's just this amazing glitch in our humor matrix. Section 3. The attention deficit comedy. You know, we live in a hilarious evolutionary contradiction. On the one hand, human intelligence literally calculated the math to reach the moon. On the other, that same exact brain sometimes cannot find the phone that is currently in its hand. Imagine a woman spending 10 panicked minutes searching for her phone. Her friend, who she is actually talking to on that very phone, says, "Hey, maybe call it," and the woman replies, "Good idea," right before the realization hits. It's the ultimate facepalm, and we laugh because that psychological gap between our peak species intelligence and our daily awareness is just spectacularly absurd. Section 4, Contagious Laughter Explained. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the sheer speed of it. Follow this incredible chain reaction. You're in a coffee shop, and one person just happens to laugh out loud at a totally harmless mistake on their laptop. A bystander nearby hears it, and without even knowing why, they start chuckling. Suddenly, the whole coffee shop loses its mind. People are literally wiping away tears, laughing hysterically. And the absolute best part, nobody in the room actually remembers or even knows the original reason for the laughter anymore. So, the crucial point here is that sometimes humans laugh because something is actually funny, but other times they laugh just because everyone else is laughing. Laughter isn't always about humor at all. Evolutionarily speaking, it is a highly infectious social glue that binds a room full of total strangers together in an instant. Section 5. The evolution of memes. Let's move to this and see how this builds when we introduce the internet. Welcome to the hyperspeed world of internet humor, where internet logic decays rapidly. Yesterday, we all collectively laughed at a cat wearing sunglasses. It made sense. Today, the cat isn't funny anymore. Now it has to be a potato wearing sunglasses. And tomorrow? No way. Tomorrow, it has to be a potato wearing sunglasses while riding a toy dinosaur. As the memes become increasingly ridiculous and nonsensical, our climatic reactions actually become way more dramatic. Human humor evolves at incredible speed. Yesterday's masterpiece becomes today's ancient history. Why does this happen? Well, it's because our brains are constantly demanding new, novel, increasingly bizarre stimuli just to trigger that laughter response. We build a psychological tolerance to the funny, so we have to dial up the weird. Section 6. Why laughter connects us. Let's bring the pacing down just a little bit here as we approach our grand conclusion. We've talked about dad jokes, memes, and awkward waving, but let's consider the broader impact for a second. Laughter connects people of absolutely all ages. It bridges entirely different backgrounds. You see it happening in parks, homes, schools, and workplaces. We humans can disagree on countless deeply serious topics, but this involuntary, joyful physical reaction, it's a universal thread that effortlessly ties us all together. It all really boils down to our ability to laugh at life's wonderfully ridiculous moments. That is the secret ingredient right there. Finding the humor in our collective awkwardness, our mistakes, and our shared confusion is what truly makes humans an amazing species. Which is why it's so important to remember, wait, what? Hold on. Did I just slip on absolutely nothing? I'm standing completely still in an empty room, and I swear I just tripped over thin air while trying to sound incredibly serious and profound. You see, life is just funnier when you don't take everything so seriously. Embrace the stumbles, enjoy the awkward waves, and just let yourself laugh. But it does leave us with one final provocative mystery. As our world gets more complex and our psychological tolerance for the absurd grows, what utterly nonsensical, potato-riding dinosaur will your brain force you to laugh at tomorrow? Thanks for joining me in this explainer.